Your 20s aren't what you think they are. You look around and see this perfectly filtered path that everyone else seems to be following. The highlights, the milestones, the straight lines. But here's the truth. That's a highlight reel, not reality. Today, I want to talk about what actually matters, not what society says should matter. Because the greatest freedom of your 20s isn't having it all figured out. It's realizing that nobody does. We're fed this narrative. Success in your 20s means checking boxes by certain ages. Graduate by 22. Land a career by 23. Relationship by 25. House by 28. Kids by 30. Sound familiar? But here's what's really going on behind those Instagram posts. Most people are experimenting. They're failing. They're starting over. They're feeling exactly like you do, uncertain. And that's not a glitch in the system. That's actually the whole point. The real difference between people who thrive in their 20s and those who just survive, it isn't having perfect plans. It's embracing uncertainty. I've spoken with hundreds of people in their 30s and 40s. I always ask them, what do you wish you'd known in your 20s? And do you know what? Not a single person has said, I wish I'd had my life more figured out. Instead, they wish they'd worried less, experimented more, understood that the winding path is the path. Think about it. Your 20s aren't the final performance. They're the dress rehearsal. Mistakes are expected. Mistakes are valuable. The first thing that really matters in your 20s is unlearning the myth that you should have it all figured out. Letting go of that single idea gives you space to explore, experiment, evolve. No more crushing pressure for perfection. When things don't go according to plan, it's not a failure state. It's literally a plan. Yet we keep scrolling through perfect lives online, wondering why our own feels so unscripted. But behind those flawless posts, everyone is just figuring it out step by step. There's this secret club of 20-somethings. Everyone's silently panicking about their life choices, while nodding confidently in public. You're not alone in this beautiful chaos. Remember that sinking feeling when someone younger than you got promoted? We need to talk about comparison. It's the fastest way to steal your joy. It's hilarious how we expect to have our entire future mapped out, when half of us still aren't sure if we're loading the dishwasher correctly. Chapter 1. The Identity Laboratory. Your 20s are the ultimate identity lab. No other decade gives you this much freedom to experiment with who you are and who you might become. And here's the twist. You should be running lots of experiments. Self-discovery isn't a one-time lightning bolt. It's an ongoing process. Your 20s are prime time for exploration. You're independent enough to make your own choices. Flexible enough that these choices don't yet define your whole life. The goal isn't to find your one true self. It's to discover the multiple versions of yourself that could exist. Every new experience, relationship, or environment reveals another facet. Changing your mind? That's not a character flaw. That's growth. Instead of asking, what should I do with my life? Which is paralyzing, ask, what can I try next? Maybe it's a ceramics class you never thought about. Maybe it's traveling solo to a city where you can be anonymous. Maybe it's a job you never considered. Each experiment is data, not a final answer, just clues. So, what matters? Creating enough self-knowledge to make choices that align with who you actually are, not who you think you should be. The person who tries 10 different paths gathers more useful wisdom than the one who stays on a single path out of fear. We all know someone who's been in the same job since college and secretly wonders what else was possible. Don't let that be your story. The most interesting people in any room? They're almost always those who have taken unconventional paths, tried multiple careers, lived in different places. Ever lie awake at night wondering, is this really what I want? That question isn't a problem. It's an invitation. We spend more time researching which TV show to watch than potential career paths. No wonder we end up in jobs that feel like someone else's script. Chapter 2. Relationship Economics. Here's a truth bomb. Not all relationships deserve equal investment. Your 20s are when you learn a hard but liberating lesson. Quality trumps quantity every single time. In your teens, friendships often came from proximity. Same school, same activities. But your 20s shift the paradigm. Intentional connection. This decade is when you discover the difference between convenience connections and soul connections. Who energizes you? Who drains you? Who celebrates your growth? And who wishes you'd stay the same? Here's the real secret. Maintaining quality relationships takes active investment. They don't just happen. Like any investment, relationships offer compound returns, but only if you invest in the right ones. Think of your friendships like a portfolio. Some are high maintenance with low returns. Others require little, but give you incredible dividends, support, growth, joy. The question isn't, how can I keep all these connections? But which ones are worth cultivating deeply? That friend who always lifts you up. Invest. That group that leaves you drained? Time to divest. Your energy and time are finite. Allocate them to relationships that help both of you become better versions of yourselves. What actually matters isn't having the most impressive social circle. It's building a genuine support system with mutual growth at its core. The courage to outgrow relationships that no longer serve you creates space for connections that will sustain you through life's inevitable challenges. Quality connections aren't just nice. They're essential to well-being. We've all stayed in friendships past their expiration date, hoping things would change. The relief that comes from letting go. Unmatched. Research shows it again and again. Strong social connections predict happiness and longevity better than money, status, or even physical health. Ever scroll through your contacts and realize you haven't spoken to most people in years? That's not failure. That's evolution. We'll agonize over a $30 shirt we never wear, but hesitate to evaluate relationships that make us miserable. Marie Kondo would be appalled at our relationship closets. Chapter 3: Financial Foundations. Your bank account in your 20s might be small, but your financial decisions are powerful. The habits you form now will be either your greatest ally or your biggest nemesis for years to come. Most of us weren't taught financial literacy, but it's one of the most consequential adult skills. Your 20s are the perfect time to start building this foundation, not because you have a lot, but because you have time. Time is the most powerful force in finance. Compound interest is magic. Small, consistent actions now lead to massive results later. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about creating future freedom. The goal isn't deprivation. It's intentionality. Spend on what brings lasting value, not fleeting satisfaction. For example, invest $200 monthly at 25, and by 65 you'll have $650,000 at 8% return. Wait until 35, and you'll have less than half. That decade difference? Worth over $350,000. The point isn't to deny yourself joy now. It's understanding that every dollar has potential energy. Simple systems, like automatic savings transfers, bypass willpower entirely. Your 20s are for learning the difference between assets that grow and liabilities that drain. What matters most isn't how much you earn. It's the money mindset you develop. Financial freedom isn't about being wealthy. It's about having options. The ability to make decisions based on fulfillment, not just bills. The greatest investment isn't in stocks or crypto. It's in your financial education. We've all made that late-night impulse buy that seemed essential, only to forget it weeks later. Meanwhile, our future selves are silently begging us to invest instead. The wealth gap between those who understand compound interest and those who don't grows exponentially. It's the difference between options and obstacles by midlife. Remember that sinking feeling after checking your account balance post-weekend out? Financial peace comes from systems, not willpower. We'll watch a 2-hour video to save $5 on a purchase, but won't spend 20 minutes learning about retirement accounts, knowledge that's worth thousands. Chapter 4: The Health Investment. Your body in your 20s is like a reliable car that keeps running despite awful maintenance. But don't be fooled. You're not invincible. You're just running on factory settings that won't last forever. Youth gives the illusion of invincibility, but your 20s are when you establish the health baseline for decades. Both physical and mental health habits you form now become your default programming. They get harder to rewrite each year. The goal isn't perfection. It's intentional investment in your most valuable asset, your health. Bad habits pile up consequences behind the scenes. Good ones quietly build resilience. Future self is already thanking you, or wishing you'd started sooner. Regular movement, enough sleep, managing stress and proper nutrition aren't just about looking good. They're essential for energy, mood, focus, and disease prevention. Mental health matters too. Learning to process emotions, set boundaries, and seek help when needed. These are skills, not weaknesses. A simple 5-minute meditation practice today could add years of mental clarity. Don't aim for perfection. Consistency of imperfect action always beats sporadic perfection. What really matters isn't having an ideal body or never feeling stressed. It's building a foundation of health, literacy, and sustainable habits. The relationship you build with your body and mind in your 20s will be one of the most important of your life. Treat it with care. We all know someone who eats like a college student in their 30s and wonders why they can't bounce back. Your metabolism is quietly taking notes. Cultures with the longest lifespans don't obsess over health. They weave movement, real food, and strong social ties into daily life. Remember when you first realized you couldn't stay out all night and feel normal the next day? Your body is sending feedback. Start listening. Chapter 5. Career Exploration. The question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Makes it sound like you need to be one thing. But what if your career isn't a straight line? What if it's a constellation of experiences? The old model, find a lane, stay for 40 years, get a gold watch, is ancient history. Today's world rewards adaptability, diverse experiences, and skills that transfer. Your 20s are the ideal time to try different paths. Develop skills that transfer. Discover work that fits your strengths. Instead of chasing job titles or status, look for environments where you can learn and contribute. The biggest mistake isn't choosing the wrong path. It's staying too long on a path that isn't right for you, out of fear or inertia. Every job teaches you something, even if it's just what you don't want. Maybe that sales job gives you communication skills for leadership. Maybe that year at a startup teaches you more than 5 years at a giant company. Instead of asking, is this my dream job? Ask, what can I learn here that's valuable for whatever comes next? Modern careers are less about climbing a ladder and more about building a portfolio of skills, experiences, and relationships. What really matters in your career journey isn't finding the perfect job right away. It's getting clear on what you're good at, what you enjoy, and what creates value for others. Clarity through exploration now prevents decades of wondering, what if, later? Your career is a marathon, not a sprint. We've all sat in job interviews pretending we always wanted this exact role. The real growth starts after you get in the door. The average person now has 12 jobs in a lifetime. Career exploration isn't failure. It's the new normal. Ever felt that Sunday dread about returning to work? That's not just adulting. That's data about your career fit. We spend more time researching dinner than researching companies where we'll spend 40 hours a week. I'll have the soul-crushing environment with a side of micromanagement, please. Chapter 6. The Learning Mindset. School might be over, but your real education is just beginning. The most valuable skill isn't anyone's expertise. It's learning how to learn. The world is changing fast. The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn is your superpower. Your 20s are the shift from compulsory to self-directed learning. Curiosity, not curriculum, is your guide. The mindset shift from I should know this already to I get to learn something new turns challenges into opportunities. The goal isn't credentials. It's intellectual flexibility. Your brain is still incredibly plastic. Take advantage. Read outside your field. Take online courses that intrigue you. Listen to podcasts on your commute. These aren't hobbies. They're investments in your mind. Seek knowledge that challenges, not just confirms. Ask questions. Surround yourself with people who know things you don't. The range of your learning now creates connection points for deep expertise later. What matters isn't what you know now. It's your capacity to learn what you'll need next. The humility to say, I don't know, but I'll find out, is more valuable than confidently reciting outdated facts. The way you approach learning in your 20s sets you up for growth or stagnation for decades. We've all nodded along, pretending to understand rather than ask. That comfort costs us real learning. The most successful people never stop being voracious learners. Remember realizing how much you didn't know about a topic you thought you understood? That discomfort is the doorway to growth. It's funny. We graduate just as we enter the phase of life where everything becomes a pop quiz with real consequences. Welcome to adulthood. Here, the tests come before the lessons. Chapter 7. Building Independence. Independence isn't just paying your bills. It's learning to navigate life's complexities without always seeking validation. Your 20s mark the transition from relying on others to becoming someone others can rely on, including yourself. This independence isn't just financial. It's emotional, intellectual, and practical. Trusting your own judgment. Solving problems creatively. Bouncing back from setbacks without running for help every time. The goal isn't isolation. It's interdependence. Relationships chosen from strength, not necessity. Every time you figure something out yourself instead of calling for help, you build this life muscle. Independence comes from skills: cooking, maintaining your space, managing your schedule, navigating the city. Emotional independence means regulating your feelings, not needing constant validation. Financial independence starts with knowing your needs versus wants. Setting up systems to cover basics before adding luxuries. Every small victory, fixing something, making a tough decision, solving a problem, compounds. What matters isn't perfect independence overnight. It's embracing the messy process of becoming self-sufficient. The challenges you face now build capabilities for life. Independence isn't the absence of support. It's the foundation that lets you give and receive help by choice, not necessity. Remember the pride of assembling furniture alone? Or navigating a foreign city? That quiet confidence stays with you. In your 20s, you'll swing between feeling like you could run a small country and Googling if chicken is fully cooked for the 15th time. That's the duality of emerging adulthood. Chapter 8. The Courage Curriculum. The biggest growth in your 20s doesn't come from comfort. It comes from courage. And courage doesn't mean no fear. It means action despite fear. Your 20s offer endless chances to build this courage muscle through discomfort. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you expand your world. Your brain wants to avoid discomfort. But growth lives just beyond that edge. Courage isn't just for big moments. It's in the daily ones: speaking up, trying something new, being vulnerable. These small acts of bravery build a life defined by choice, not avoidance. Start with small courage challenges. Chat with strangers. Share your ideas. Try things you're terrible at. Then scale up, negotiate salary, travel solo, chase opportunities that scare you. Confidence doesn't lead to action. Action leads to confidence. You build courage by doing courageous things. Regrets in life aren't about failures. They're about chances never taken. What matters isn't avoiding failure. It's building a relationship with fear that doesn't let it run your life. The courage you develop now sets your future range of possibilities. A life guided by courage builds not just achievement, but character. We've all lain awake replaying moments we didn't speak up. Those silent regrets sting longer than rejection. Studies of the elderly say it over and over. People regret the risks not taken more than the ones that failed. Remember the time you almost didn't apply for something because you felt unqualified? How many chances pass us by because of that voice? Our brains are funny. We'll convince ourselves that familiar misery is safer than possible happiness. Sure, this job is awful, but what if the next one is even worse? But what if it's better? Or transformative? Chapter 9. The compound effect. The force shaping your life isn't luck or talent. It's the compound effect of daily habits. Your 20s are when these patterns get programmed. Small, consistent actions seem minor, but they create massive results, good or bad. Compound interest isn't just for money. Habits work the same way. Negative habits compound downward, just as positive habits build upward. The magic and danger of your 20s is that you set these patterns while the stakes feel low, but the long-term impact is immense. Choices that look small, reading or scrolling, saving or spending, creating or consuming, define the future with mathematical precision. Read 20 pages a day. That's 25 books a year. Walk 30 minutes daily. That's 182 hours of movement. Write 500 words daily. That's 2 full books a year. Consistency makes exponential, not linear, results. The question isn't what huge change you can make, but what small change you'll sustain. What matters isn't sporadic heroics. It's the daily, unglamorous disciplines that compound into greatness. The habits you normalize now will likely be with you for decades. Choose them on purpose. Your future is built by today's small decisions, one day at a time. We've all seen someone transform their life with consistent effort while we chased shortcuts. The person who started small and stayed consistent laps us every time. The most successful people? They just did the right things, quietly, when no one was watching. Remember downloading a meditation app with big hopes, using it twice, then forgetting? Small habits need systems, not motivation. It's wild. We'll spend hours on life hacks to save 5 minutes, while ignoring the simple habits that could change everything in a year. Chapter 10. The long game. Your 20s aren't the finish line. They're the starting blocks. The most fulfilled people aren't those who win their 20s. They're the ones who use this decade to build for the long game. In a world obsessed with immediate results, playing the long game is radical and rewarding. Your 20s are about building the foundation for a fulfilling journey, not just chasing quick wins. Some investments, education, deep relationships, career learning, won't pay off immediately. But over time, they build compounding advantages. The irony: those who chase only quick wins often stay stuck, while long-game players gather momentum. What starts as a small advantage today becomes tomorrow's defining strength. Playing the long game takes emotional resilience. You'll have to make peace with delayed gratification, trust your judgment, and ignore pressure for quick wins. The long game isn't just about career or money. It's health, relationships, personal growth, all of it. Each part of life rewards those who look beyond the next moment. Your 20s are the perfect time to ask, are you making decisions that expand or limit your future? The choices that feel uncomfortable now often create the most freedom later. Your future self is counting on you to make choices today that they'll thank you for tomorrow.